Good afternoon. That's almost it. Let's try it again. Show those students we adults can wake up here. Good afternoon. Are the students still here? Our jazz band left us? I wanted to remind them this is about them. It's not about any of us. And thank them. That was amazing music we got to hear. I also want to take a moment to thank some of the people in the room. And want to first thank the Alliance for Education. What a great event this is. And for so long, you've worked for our children and for our schools and have recognized, I think, the importance of that first word, alliance. We can only do it together. We have got to build in this city the will to help our schools. I want to thank Dr. Larry Nyland for all the work he's done. You deserve it. I just want to give him applause again. And I'm a little bit myopic in thinking that we've got some of the best team in the city of Seattle working on these issues, but we do. And Dr. Dwayne Chappelle, who is the leader of my department and has worked so hard side by side in working things, I want to thank you for all your work. And to all my friends on the Seattle School Board, I want to thank you not just for being here, but for all the work you're doing. I, of course, was on the campaign trail with Eden and with Zach, and have had time to work with a number of the other board members. It was very interesting when I came in being mayor and on the campaign trail, I talked to people, and we talk a lot about regional relationships and the mayor meeting with the county executive, with other mayors in the region, with the governor, and trying to build those coalitions. But surprisingly, there has been very little or not enough connection built between the mayor's office and our schools. And so I've been working really hard to make sure that we build up that relationship so as we move forward, we work together. And I will tell you that, on a regular basis, I am meeting with the superintendent and members of the school board, never enough that we have a quorum, but with each one of them, I will tell you, the commitment to our kids, to this region, to closing the opportunity gap is so strong, it really inspires me to do my job. Because I know, and we all know, that the future of this city really does depend on how our kids do, how our schools do. And if we don't pull together to make sure that we provide the greatest opportunities possible for our children, then we are not thinking about the future of Seattle. So I want to thank all the members of the school board who are here, but more importantly, for being willing to work, not just on what we think of as education issues and closing the opportunity back in the schools, but working with people like Rick Burke, who has been a leader in thinking about how do we get those apprenticeship programs and the skills force married together with our kids so they get exposed to every kind of job we have. I know it's going to shock everybody in the room, but I really believe Seattle's the best city, not just in this country, but maybe in this globe. We are the leaders. We invent the future. We have some of the best companies here that are creating the most innovative jobs. We have strong workers and dedicated workers. We also happen to have now officially the best restaurant in the country. I'm a May baby, but this month I'm a June baby. We've got other leaders here, Bobby Bridge and John Bridge, you've done so much. Jim McIntyre was here, I know, and Governor Gregoire, thank you so much for your leadership. I've said over and over again that the crisis of our time in this city is the affordability issue. How do we make sure that everyone knows they have a home in Seattle? How do we tell those working class people that they can afford to live in Seattle? Or the homeowners that have lived here so long they can afford to stay in Seattle? How do we make sure that we have the resources to get our homeless neighbors off the street? And we've had some robust discussions about how to do that. One of the ways I am committed as mayor, and I think has to be part of the solution, is creating true economic opportunity. to making sure our kids today can get those jobs of tomorrow. We know that over 700,000 jobs will be created in Washington State, most of them right here in Puget Sound region in the years coming. Most of those jobs are going to require some post-high school education, certificate, degree. And so what do? We got to make sure our kids can get that job, because today in Washington State, only 30% of our students are getting that. And so building strong K through 12, we know is not enough. And you talk to any educator, we know we have to have strong preschools and early learning. And it's got to be equitable, and it's got to be available to everyone. And we've done that through our Seattle levy, and through the proposed levy, we are going to increase the number of slots available for early learning so our kids can show up in kindergarten ready to learn. We know it works, we're going to do it. We also know that our principals and our teachers are working around the clock and doing really creative things to close the opportunity gap. Because we heard the numbers, we know the numbers. Our students of color are being left behind. And so in the proposed education levy, we are going to devote even more resources to making sure that we help our teachers and principals in Seattle schools close that opportunity gap, so more kids get the opportunity to walk across that stage and know that they can graduate. We want to create a school to opportunity pipeline in Seattle. Not a school to prison pipeline, not a school to no job pipeline, but a schools to opportunity pipeline. And together we can do that, and we'll do it more through the levy. The third piece of it is we know for a fact that post-high school education improves the opportunity for people. We don't want to solve affordability just through building more housing, even though we need it, or more affordable housing, even though we need it. We want our kids to know and give them that opportunity that they actually can afford any house in this city. We want them to be able to have any job in this city, whether it is building those buildings downtown where we're creating great things for the future, whether it's working in those buildings downtown, helping to create that future, or whether it's owning the buildings downtown. That's what I want for our kids. So we have also in our levy included for the first time 2 years free education and support services for every Seattle public school kid who can graduate. It's going to be ground shifting in the city. And for any of you who have not done so, and if you have the opportunity, I've been able to go now several times down to South College and sit with the 13th year students and talk to the ones who made it through their 13th and 14th year and then went on. You will fall in love, because it shows you the power of our youth. It shows you the power of giving them that tool that lets them forge the future for them, for their communities, and for the city. So I want to thank you very much for the people in this room who I know have supported us in this endeavor, particularly the Seattle schools who've been working with us to make sure that we are connected with those schools, that we not just provide this P through 14, but we also have the wraparound services for families, the medical health that they need, the diversity training for our teachers, and also to support our students of color with mentoring and programs like that. We know there's holistic solutions, and with them, with an alliance like we see in this room, we can build that future together here in Seattle. We can stand up for our kids, and we can tell them we delivered on our part of the promise. Thank you very much. I appreciate you being here. I blew my lines. And now for our next speaker, Marilyn, welcome to the stage. Former mayor and head of the chamber.